tell you what, I'm having a difficult time sitting down. I'm also not an addict, as far as you know, but trying to get through these next couple of hours without sipping on something is going to be hard because there's so much out there. But let's face it, we're grasping. We're grasping for straws. We're trying to figure out, the Jaguars are underground, okay? It's their thing of ours, right? That's, and it looked like earlier today, T-Mac, Ted McMillan, had an opportunity to break Omerta, and he did not. He said the Jags haven't spoken to anyone unless I'm tripping. Again, the guy could be the top 5 pick, and he's dropping tripping. Come to Duval, Ted McMillan, if that's the man you want. I think you can get him at 10, but there's so much stuff that's out there. I want to applaud the way that this has gone because it does feel like a thing of ours. Nothing of substance has leaked, all right? And you're getting people in a world where you can say things without a penalty, right? You can say things and your job is not on the line because it can always be defined as a rumor or what have you. Case in point, Chicago today. And listen, I love Chicago. I spent 7 years there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's probably 35 degrees right now today in Chicago. You know what? I've been happy everywhere I've been. Okay, but I got to be honest with you. After 18 years in Boston, waving goodbye, and then after 7 years in Chicago, seeing it in the rearview mirror as I pulled out of there, knowing that both times I was going to Tallahassee and Jacksonville, respectively, I was a happy man. In the case of Tallahassee, a happy young man. But, these are apparently, and, I spent 7 years there. I don't know who these individuals are, but they're throwing stuff out there. Let's go to Jason Leisner, all right, who apparently covers the Bears for the Chicago Sun-Times, very reputable paper, right? You got the Sun-Times and the Tribune. Those are the two go-tos. In Chicago. And this is what he says. My favorite exchange from the pre-draft availability today, reporter asked, did you talk to Jacksonville at all? Ted McMillan said, and I quote, man, I don't think anybody talked to Jacksonville. Unless I'm tripping, am I wrong? ? Nobody has talked to Jacksonville. I've never heard anything like this before. Maybe this actually happened in L.A., with Les Snead, and I just wasn't aware of it because it's out in L.A., right? Around here, there's always been, I thought Caldwell was actually pretty good at these things. I tell the story quite often because it got me. And the year that Jalen was drafted, they did a Friday morning interview session inside the Jaguars locker room, okay? And at the end of it, after we asked Jalen questions and Jalen was there with his family and whatever, to the side, I was with Dan Hicken, and we were there with Dave Caldwell. And I don't know if it was an official on the record. I don't know if it was an off the record. I can't even remember what the circumstances was. It couldn't have been off the record because I talked about it that afternoon on the radio. But anyway, before Friday night and before the next 2 rounds of the draft, I came on the air 100% totally convinced there was no way they were going to draft Miles Jack, and they did. All right, that was Caldwell. Whether that was planted, whether it was tomfoolery, whether it was nowhere in between, I don't know, but he spoke on it. Gene Smith said very little, but there was always a rumbling here and there. Trent Baalke, who the heck knows what actually went on with all of that? But the understanding was it's one direction or another. There's nothing here. This is like a family. It is. And again, they're in a bunker, and they are hunkering down. So when I start to see this stuff that comes from people that I guess are credible, but I have no idea who they are or who they were until I actually read this a little bit earlier today, it is a surprise. Let me find this other one if I still have it. Don't tell me I deleted it, Ballou. Come on. All right, here's the guy by the name of Ben Devine. Ben Devine, his Twitter handle or X handle is at Chicago NFL. Okay, Ben Devine says this. No doubt about Bears are trying to trade up, one or two Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty. And he says the Patriots, the Jaguars, and the Raiders have all made calls about moving down. So here's a guy, Ben Devine, who is directly saying Jacksonville has made calls to Chicago. Jacksonville has made calls about trading down. Do I think they have made some calls? Sure, I would. However, there could also be the shock value of they haven't shown their hand with anything. They didn't bring any top 30 visits in. They just did their due diligence at the scouting combine. You saw what Gladstone was like as far as his approach when it came to pro days. They're not giving anything away. And listen, I'm not going to come out here and call out another guy who does what I do, although I guess his world is in print, and in this case, I guess, on Twitter or whatever it is who he does write for in Chicago. But I find it hard to believe. I do. Now, if something had leaked and it had come from Adam Schefter or it had come from Ian Rappaport, okay, then I think that what that does mean is someone here tipped them off for that very reason, to try to plant a story, to try to present a possible story. But I find it amazing that people are actually saying stuff like this. Here's another one. All right, 49ers NFL News 24/7. Jags are shopping Travis Etienne. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Schefter said it earlier in the week. Hell, we've been talking about that for months. For months, we've been talking about could they trade Etienne? Could they trade Devin Lloyd? Could they trade Chad Muma? I mean, we haven't missed on that. But this is another example of the way that it is presented. It sounds like he has acquired information directly, in this case from the 49ers. After the 49ers, I guess John Lynch had a conversation with James Gladstone, or John Lynch had a conversation with Tony Baselli, a couple of Hall of Famers who just rubbed elbows. And before Baselli hung up, he said, hey, John, by the way, ETN's on the block. No! Stuff's not happening. So, I'm just trying to separate what is really happening compared to being able to just throw it out there. And it doesn't matter if you're wrong, because it can be labeled as that is what you heard. Okay? And maybe this guy has a good source in Chicago. Maybe this guy has a good source in San Francisco. Just because the Jaguar side is jammed up, I really think there's some fear. Just let me be, I'll be perfectly honest with you, as I always am. How do I want to say this? There's always been something that I have been able to rely on, regardless of the head coach or general manager who has answered my questions. Not this time. No way. I mean, it's almost, if I didn't know better, my guess would be they have had the you-know-what scared out of them. In my imagination it sounded a little bit like this. Close the door. Turn up the blinds. None of you leak. If I find out that any of you leak, bam, this is what's going to happen. Again, I don't know that happened. I don't know that. That's my guess as to what happened. And I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a move of power about changing around this Mickey Mouse organization, about changing around something that is absolutely laughable throughout the NFL, to have the losingest record of any team in anything that is the NFL, NHL, NBA, or Major League Baseball over the last 10 years. A freaking joke. And it's coming from the top. And they're changing some things. So that's how I feel on Jacksonville's side. Doesn't mean that a phone call can't be made and that someone in San Francisco is going to leak. Someone in Chicago is going to leak. But again, based on everything that we have heard so far, I'd be really surprised by that. You know, it's one thing if Les Snead picks up the phone or Ryan Poles picks up the phone and calls James Gladstone and starts asking around. It's another thing, the way that this was presented, that Jacksonville is calling teams about trading. There's a difference there. Out of respect for your other general managers, right, in this very small fraternity, if someone from another team calls you, you take that call. You're a 34-year-old general manager. You're just barely on the job. Yeah, I mean, you've got your people that you're in with, people that, you know, you're meeting maybe in this position for the first time. But my guess would be you take their call. It's another thing to place the call. It's another thing to say, hey, listen, we're looking to move down. And I'm just really blown away. It happened in the 11th hour. It literally all happened on the eve of the NFL draft. It's not like this stuff has been out there for weeks or it's been out there for a month. It just popped up. And, you know, I don't know exactly how to feel about it. And that's what's disappointing. Again, we're talking about three individuals here who I have never heard of before. Two in Chicago, one in San Francisco. Chicago's what, the third market in the country? San Francisco's what, the fourth market in the country? You would think they're pretty credible with what they do to be covering a team in that market. But again, do they cover the team directly? Is this their pseudo-own, you know, homemade, all of a sudden I woke up one day and I became a journalist, you know, and I'm just putting stuff out there and there you go. I mean, the Lizer guy covers the Bears for the Chicago Sun-Times. But these others, these 24/7s and Chicago NFL, I mean, I don't know. But I just find it pretty interesting here on the eve of the draft. And then you have those who are apparently supposed to be in the know. You know, Adam Schefter saying that the Jags are the wild card. Adam Schefter saying the Jaguars are not going to draft Mason Graham. Diana Rossini, who's around here known for one thing and one thing only, that's firing Doug Marrone. The problem was he wasn't fired. And instead of backtracking and apologizing for getting it wrong, as we have all gotten it wrong in this business, she just laughed about it. Got a raise at ESPN, then got a bigger raise by going to The Athletic. So apparently they like her, and I want to like her. I do. I want to like Diana Rossini. She said that according to what she was told, the Jaguars are going to be, and I quote, electric in this year's NFL draft. What in the hell does electric mean? We're talking about a draft. This is meat, potatoes, and a draft beer. Okay? Electric? I guess her definition is Jags could trade up, Jags could trade down. A lot of people believe the draft starts at 5. That's a new term for you to take with you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the Jaguars tomorrow night, they're going to be electric. So anyway, that is what we have. We're on the eve of it all. It all adds up to this, in my opinion. We don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I think there are 3 people. Maybe my guess is that there's 5 people who know. Both Cons, Baselli, Gladstone, and Cohen. I think they're smart enough to understand that the more people you tell, the better of a chance that it is that it leaks. And it's that way in anything in life. And especially when we're talking about things that are sports related. The less who know, the better off you are. This has really been a weird approach by Jacksonville to be so incredibly silent. I mean, I understand you don't want to show your hand, but I've never been, aware of anything that has been remotely close to this And again, maybe it's happened in L.A. with Les Snead, and that's where Gladstone learned it. We don't cover the Rams. Don't get into their offseason behavior and their process when it comes to the combine and the pro days, and when it comes to the Senior Bowl, and when it comes to individual workouts, which I guess would be pro days, or when it comes to bringing folks in. I know the Rams very rarely did so, right? I even think last year when they came here, they had a scout here who I know well, watching Braden Fisk and Jared Verse work out. They ended up both getting drafted. I think if memory serves me correct, neither one of those two players were contacted by the Rams. I may be wrong on that. Again, I don't cover the Rams. But that's the approach. And I think it's a very encouraging approach. I think there's some fear that is out there that if you want to be a part of the Jacksonville Jaguars, here's the deal. Shut up. Okay? You don't have ears. And you haven't had ears for the last couple of months. And, try me. I don't know that. That's just my guess. And for what it's worth, yes. I mean, why not? I mean, everything they've done about this whole process was really backwards, right? I mean, they hired a coach first, then a general manager, and in between they hired Ballou was obviously there before but the whole thing was off kilter. And now they're not doing visits. They're not doing pro days with the GM. They're not talking to anyone. It's all different. Maybe it works. Maybe they truly are the three smartest people, in that it does end up working. That's what you can hope for. Certainly that's what I hope for you. Not for them. I mean, I like them. I like Baselli an awful lot. I've known him forever. Just barely met Cohen and Gladstone. But I want it for you. I want you to be happy. You should be happy tonight. It's the eve of the NFL draft. I tell you who's happy is Shmunez Vision. I'm happy with them. Why? I can see. All right, got 2020. And I have another visit coming up. That'll be in May. And it's always great to sit down with Dr. Neil Shmunez. So check my eyes. Tell me everything about my eyes. Okay, what's working, what's not working, how healthy are they? Man, it's brutal outside right now with the pollen and the allergies. You may be scratching your eyes. You may have redness around your eyes. Make an appointment. Find out today whether or not you have an allergy. While you're at it, let them give you a full examination, an update for your contacts, an update for your glasses. You could be a candidate for laser eye surgery. Imagine never having to go and try to find your readers again, or to take out your contacts late at night again. It's one of the many things they offer up at Shmunez Vision. Check them out online. It's a wonderful website, Shmunez Vision. You can also go to Instagram and get all of the testimonials at Shmunez Vision. All right, here's the deal. At 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. This is it. Hour 2, I have John Oser. We'll check the money with Rafael Esparza in Las Vegas. This is it. Your hour. I want to know, straight up, what are they doing? Because tomorrow, 4 to 7, I'll be with Hayes and Hacker, so we will not have our normal show tomorrow night. Instead, you will for 1 hour, but I'll be with Hayes and Hacker, and then you will go into the Jaguars radio broadcast covering the NFL draft. But time is up. It's test time now. What are they doing? Are they staying at 5? And if so, who are they picking? Are they trading up? Are they trading down? If so, who are they picking? Go ahead and fire them up. 641-1010. That is the best way to join us. The text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Where incredible lives.
Every single player had an incredible moment.
1010XL.
Neck pain, back pain, or headache? Shinatri Chiropractic has 4 locations: Westside, 103rd, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Shinatri Chiropractic, 743-6700.
I'm Chris Campione. Veterans have given so much in the service of our country, but when it comes to legal challenges, you shouldn't have to fight alone. At Campione Law, we're here to help veterans like you get the support and compensation you deserve. Whether it's a workplace injury, a personal injury claim, or navigating a veteran's disability claim, we'll stand by your side every step of the way. Your service to our country matters. Let us serve you with the dedication and respect you deserve. Call Campione Law for a free consultation today. Campione Law, fighting for veterans, fighting for justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law. Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, get $300 off all windows or $825 off patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires April 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Corona Premier, a light beer with just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. The premier side of life. For those that are active and on the go, pick some up the next time you're heading out to enjoy the day under the sun. Corona Premier, an unexpectedly light beer.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark tonight at 7:05. It's free t-shirts to the first 500 fans, courtesy of Renewal by Anderson and Better Health. Then it's Thirsty Thursday and fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Florida heat is no joke. Is your air conditioner ready for it? At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we've got a crazy offer just for you. We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. One of our expert techs will come look at your AC unit and make recommendations to ensure it's running at peak performance. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. Terminix stops termites in my home fast. These destructive pests may have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so does Terminix. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem. I certainly wasn't going to. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. Terminix.com.
1010XL's draft previews are brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Mason Graham from Michigan has been a player many have connected to Jacksonville in this year's draft. Graham provides activity, effort, strength, and quickness, with the first step that makes the defensive tackle's interior disruption inevitable. And although he doesn't have the freakish size, length, or athleticism that others might offer, he is tough, consistent, and productive. And that's what the Teal and Black need inside.
Yo, it's your main man E.T. here, and it's time to make those summer break plans. Clay County is calling. From paddleboarding on Doctors Lake to reeling in the big one on Black Creek or cruising the St. Johns River. There's no better place to dive into warm weather fun. Enjoy live music, local festivals, food trucks, and fireworks lighting up the night. Discover scenic parks, hidden trails, and must-visit local gyms. Your summer adventures start here. Visit exploreclay.com.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, Strengthen your core and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
Cool boats, hot prices at the Jacksonville Spring Boat Show, April 25th, 26th, and 27th at Metropolitan Park. Fishing seminars, kids events, and more. Presented by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside. Tickets and info at boatjacks.com. That's boatjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
No place I'd rather be than right here, except for at 7:35 when America goes on stage at the Florida Theater. So good. You know, I bet's enjoying this. Howard Cosell, who died today. I think it was 1995. And what Howard Cosell would think about these reports coming out of Chicago and Denver and San Francisco. Tell you what, he'd be very proud of the new brass here for not saying anything. They take it from an old school when there was journalism with Howard. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. There isn't any journalism anymore. Some act it, but they're not. You know, some act it, and you see them out in town, they're wearing a Jaguar jersey. Or they're wearing a... I mean, it's gone. It's gone. And again, you can be wrong, and there's no penalty. I'm just really impressed that nothing has come out of the Miller Electric Center. And some people are acting like, well, they know this, they know that. I mean, come on. Do you really? I don't believe so. I'm telling you, I don't believe you. That's what it comes down to. I don't believe you. And I think it's a good thing. We'll see if it works in the draft. Tonight's show is brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. Rick Alexander, born and raised right here in Jacksonville, has been working here for more than 30 years, practicing in Duval. You need individual attention. You get injured and you're like, hey, what happened? You know, maybe you were in a car crash. Maybe you're really hurt. You're missing work. You've been trying to call around. These firms like, yeah, I'll get back to you, and they don't. And there's nothing worse than that. They're always going to respond to you, okay? Give you the individualized attention that you deserve. Also, no fees, okay? Some that got to charge you this. We got to get some paperwork done. We're going to have to try. No. Obviously, at the end, when you are being compensated, okay, some fees will come into play there, but nothing ever out of pocket to begin. So if you have been hurt, if you have been injured, and you don't think there's a place for you, wrong. You need to contact the good folks at Alexander Law Practice. That's alexanderlawpractice.com. And for a free review as well, you can call them at 400-6600. I honestly hope none of you people have to call, because I hope you don't get injured. But if so, you need to go to the right place, and that's alexanderlawpractice.com. All right, there's all sorts of stuff coming in here. There really is. 2570 Jags select Tyler Warren. You can catch her. I'm asking for your final pick tonight because it's the last opportunity that we have to do this. Tomorrow we won't be, that active here on the text line and on YouTube the way that I always have done it on Into the Night. That'll be different tomorrow because we're going to have plenty of guests, and we're going to be loaded up from 4 to 7 during our pre-draft show right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. All right, 0193 says we've been able to trade back, but the current management has a draft all, a buzz of people moving up to number 5. Love it. Yeah, I mean, that's also very intriguing, is that I'm sure within this inner circle, within this fraternity, word is out and relationships have been built, but you know who you can call and you can get a solid answer from. You also know who you can call and you're not going to get anything from. It's like everything else in life. Some can be very easy to deal with. Others can be very difficult to deal with. Well, when you look at the case of James Gladstone now, no one knows anything about him except for the work that he has done in Los Angeles. He hasn't been the decision maker yet. And I would just love to hear what his conversations are like with other general managers. We see what they're like with the media. It's fascinating. I don't know what it would be like with these GMs. 4493, Blue, the less they know, the best is it goes for life in general. Well said, live by it. You'll see me. Yeah, I mean, I 1752, you would think the scouting staff that is at risk of being turned over because of the new leadership would be spilling all the beans, but they aren't. Hey, I gave you my opinion on that. Everyone who's in the Miller Electric Center, I honestly do believe that they were told to shut up, okay? And maybe that is a big part of all this. Letting Gladstone and Cohen and Baselli obviously is aware of them, but Baselli was also an analyst. He was a media guy who's now a huge factor in all of this. Do I think there are going to be changes after the draft? Absolutely. But maybe it was put out there for them. You still have an opportunity to stay on board. Yes, absolutely, I believe that is in play. Now, if you know you're going to be moved, I can see what you're saying there. But again, I almost feel like when stuff like this happens, they have a pretty good idea of where it comes from. And if you're outgoing as an NFL scout for any one of these 32 teams, do you want to put that reputation or have that reputation that you're a rat, that you're a talker, you're trying to get another job? No, if you kept your mouth shut, if you did your job and they decide to go in a different direction, but you have years worth of experience and you can help another team, not having that on you is definitely going to help. So I can see where you're going with it, but I'd be really surprised by that. And I'll even tell you this. There was a lot of stuff happening during the Balky regime. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of it by him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And we don't need to recap his career, right? But again, when stuff gets leaked, you automatically... you assume how and where. This is the best team that the Jaguars have had in 30 years. I mean, what a bomb. What a missile that was placed on Doug Peterson and the Jaguars before the start of the show. It was also a mistake by Shad Khan. He never should have said anything like that. I know he's excited, but stay in your lane. Don't set up your team. Maybe he'll come out this year and say, this is the worst team Jacksonville's had in 31 years. That's my advice to Shad Khan. Don't say it's the best, because everyone bought it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Some other stuff. So, yeah, I'm trying to stay here with the Jags. Might want to let the Googans know 295 northbound in Bay Meadows is blocked. Ugh. Yeah. Man, what's happening by Phillips Highway? I went to the beach today. I needed some sun. Went over to Michael's with the GF. Yeah, it takes me 12 minutes to get to Michael's in Bartram. On the way back, trying to sneak in, through Phillips to get back to Bartram. What in the hell's going on? It's like a third world country. The Bartram area, Bayard and Bartram, is a third world country inside Duval right now. I mean, stick a freaking police officer out there to direct traffic. You have a couple of lanes shut down. When it's your time to go, you can't go because there's traffic out in the middle of the intersection. It's just brutal. And Jacksonville's not even a bad traffic town. There's just a lot of awful drivers. I think a lot of you are Northerners. Get back there. I'm one of yours now, man. I've been here since the mid-'80s. Yeah, Rick Dillamans and Kevin Banks last night. Hacker and I talked about that. I'd be very surprised if it was Kelvin Banks.
We had our medium mock draft today.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders person picked Kelvin Banks to go to the Raiders at 6.
They have 3 guys in that room. One of them is Tony Baselli. If they're not leaning on him for his expertise on the offensive line, then that is a massive mistake. I also don't believe that Tony should be making the selection. James Gladstone should. Tony is phenomenal at what he's done, but now he's learning something brand new. He's now a decision maker. He was an analyst. He knows the game. He's a good football man. But I firmly do believe, and we've talked about collaboration, right? This is James Gladstone's time tomorrow night. He makes the 5th pick. And obviously you lean on Tony Baselli, especially when it comes to the offensive line. He may see things in Kevin Banks that Will Campbell can't do or doesn't do, or Membu can't do or doesn't do, or Josh Simmons, when he's healthy, can't do. Of course I'm going to trust him. No doubt. But I'd be very, very, very surprised if he was the selection at number 5. I think they're going to trade down. I do. I think they're going to trade down.
With who?
I think there's 4 teams. I think there's the Raiders at 6, would be one spot. But that would probably come at the cost of Genty. I think, obviously, there's Chicago at 10, and we heard the rumor of give up number 5 and give up number 107 and acquire number 10 and number 41. I love that. That's the best case scenario for me. You would have 10, 36, and 41. Even if you lose Genty, you know you're getting 3 really good football players at number 5, number 36, and number 41. That's my favorite. Cowboys at 12 and the Broncos at 20. That's been all over the place today. You know, talk to Denver. Absolutely does love Genty. That's a haul. That's 15 spots. I feel, for the first time now, I feel uncomfortable. I would do 5 to 10 if you included the 41st. I would do it. I haven't seen what the compensation package is, 10 to 12. Excuse me, 5 to 12 with Dallas. Obviously, I'd do 5 to 6 if you're going to get another good pick out of it. If you feel you can live without Genty, I would do that with the Raiders. But, man, moving down 15 spots to number 20. Yeah. The only way, and let me say this before the break, the only way that comes into play is if all of these analysts that we've had on. You know, last night I had Damian Parson on, and he said he has 13 to 15 first-round grades. I've had guys on who have told me there have been 6 first-round grades. There appears to be a lot of very good players that you can find 20 through 80, maybe. Had an analyst tell me that. What if Jacksonville right now believes there's only 2 or maybe 3 game-changing players, superstar, elite type of players, and by the time they're up at 5, those 3 are gone. They know they're going to get a good football player at 5, but they're saying to themselves, you know what? We trust our work. We trust what we have put into it. We think we can still get a really good football player at 20. Let's bring on this draft capital. That is the only way. But to me, it's still too much. It's 15 picks. It is. I love the Bears at 10, though. That's where I would go. Where would you go? 641-1010, best way to join us. That is the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures as well. You can join us on YouTube. Just go to 1010XL into the night.
From the preseason to the playoffs and every day in between.
Each man individually preparing himself to be the best he could possibly be. Better than he's ever been. Because that's what it's going to take.
At 1010XL, the season never ends.
M-O-V-I-N-G. Southside Kia is moving. Our moving sale is on right now. Help us clear new Kias out. Our current selection's got 200 plus Kias on the lot. Hurry to save big with us. New rides starting at just $20,000 bucks. Plus, bring your tax refund today. We'll double it up to $5K. M-O-V-I-N-G. Get to Southside Kia this spring. Online at SouthsideKiaJacks.com. Get your next ride at Southside. For complete details, call 904-325-9208.
Ballou here for Spunez Vision. Why Spunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Spunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Spunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Spunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SpunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
This Work Zone Awareness Week, take a moment to think about the people behind the cones. Road workers risk their lives to keep Florida highways safe. Speeding, distractions, and ignoring signs can be deadly. Slow down, stay alert, and follow the rules. It's the best way to protect workers and yourself. Together, we can make a difference. From the Florida Department of Transportation, respect the zone so we all get home.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 23rd, 2020, at the NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Louisiana State quarterback Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow with the first overall pick.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and book your space today.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Best Bet is #1. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
What a Guggen this will be.
If you and a friend would like to play in this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open Golf Tournament May 19th at Hidden Hills Golf Club, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to win.
He just got a hole-in-one.
Score a hole-in-one and win an Atlantic Infinity SUV. ET makes a putt, you win lunch at Twin Peaks, a Chick-fil-A breakfast, and a Dandy Foods lunch. Thanks to our sponsors, Injury Care Centers, Kingfish Pest Control, and Valor Roofing.
What are the only 2 states that do not observe daylight saving time? The answer next.
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The only 2 states that currently do not observe daylight saving time are Arizona and Hawaii.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, depending on where you shop, it's all over the place now, but it's Ashton Genty. The only company I'm allowed to mention is Hard Rock. I think if I said another one, they'd have me thrown off air. Hard Rock has Genty at -160. You can find it other places. Cost you more, around $200. A massive swing in Las Vegas. I want to credit Adam Kaplan. Came on a couple of weeks ago, and he was the one that dropped Genty. I think he was the first one who said it from NFL Sirius Radio, XM Sirius Radio. So some good stuff there. I remember when kids who transferred was a conversation. Oh, he packed up and he left. You know, is he a gamer? Is it going to affect his draft status? Last year in 2024, there were 9 transfers who went in the first round. I see this year the prognostication is 10. So those days are long gone. All right, the 9225 is taking a shot at me. Let me read this and explain myself again. That's dumb, Rick. We got Brian Thomas Jr. at 23 last year. They're elite players, all in the draft. Bucky Urban, 4th round of last year. Not sure why people think first few picks are the only ones who can be elite. That is the way it works in the draft. And frankly, it drives me crazy. When I hear someone say, oh, it's a 6-player draft, I do. I want to drive off the road. So I understand that you are upset. But this is my point, okay? That's still the way they evaluate. They got a very, 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 very small list. All of these 32 teams, a very small list of guys that they actually do believe are going to be sensational players. Team-changing, game-changing players. My point is exactly what you're supporting. If you get to, let's say they only have 3 guys on that list that they think are Hall of Fame type players, but they believe there are 45, 50 players on their list that can really come on in and be a day 1 starter. And someone that can help you out. If you get to 5 and on their short list, those 3 are gone. And in their mind, there's not a massive difference between number 5 and number 10 or number 5 and number 20. I understand that it would change a little bit after 10 more picks, but they still believe that they can get a really good football player at number 20. Not one of the 3 elite players that they identified, but still get a really good player and take on more draft picks. Why not make the pick? Fully aware of Bucky Irvin. I haven't done a show here in 2 months where I haven't mentioned Bucky Irvin in the 4th round. That's the flip side of, do you go get Genty and believe that he is going to be, Adrian Peterson? Or do you address other positions and say, listen, we found Bucky Irvin in the 4th round last year. The Bucs wouldn't give up Bucky Irvin right now for outside of maybe a handful of running backs in the NFL, and they used him in the 4th round. Look at how many people were wrong last year on Brian Thomas Jr. The first 14 picks of the 2024 draft were offense. Brian Thomas Jr. was the 4th wide receiver selected last year. That means 22 other teams missed on him, in my opinion. Okay, the quarterbacks, maybe that's the 3 quarterbacks early, with Williams and May and Daniels. But outside of that, isn't that a fair statement? So, yes, every single year there are misses, but I do, and I kid with this. I think there's some arrogance tied to it. It's something that's said all the time, and it's bothered me for decades. How dare you say it's a 6-player draft? I mean, why would you say that? Why would anyone say it's a 6-player draft? It's the people in the know. It's only the special people, right? It's only the people, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, it's those of us who are in, we do get it. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say after explaining it again. 0148, better than Peterson. You think he's going to be better than Adrian Peterson? I mean, Adrian Peterson, in my opinion, is a top 5 back of all time. Right? I mean, if I'm ranking backs, I'm trusting my dad that Jim Brown was the greatest of all time. Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, O.J. Simpson, Adrian Peterson. That'd be my list. And then I'm going to Emmitt Smith and Earl Campbell and Tony Dorsett and Marshall Faulk. Right? Who am I leaving out? Fred Taylor comes along sooner or later. He does. But Adrian Peterson? Adrian Peterson was absolutely outstanding. I mean, and what did we talk about yesterday? The ceiling was Barry Sanders. The floor was Tomlinson.
Yep.
If you could be Tomlinson, if you knew that Genty could be Tomlinson, you'd have to take him at number 5 tomorrow. Okay? But I understand the fear in this town. You're wondering if he's going to be Leonard Fournette. And the other side of this equation, if you do get Genty, there's a very, very small time frame on this. You better plan on winning soon. Because I think you could make the bet right out of the gate that Genty's not around for a second contract. Now, Fred Taylor stuck for a second contract. Maurice Jones-Drew stuck for a second contract. But how many of these backs who come out now remain with the same team at the running back position for a second contract? That world has changed. I understand the Mason Graham. I understand the Jalen Walker. I understand a Tyler Warren. I understand a Tet McMillan. I understand all of that when you say, all right, well, if you draft a guy like that tomorrow night, you can hopefully keep him in Duval for 7 to 10 years.
Right.
You draft Genty, he's probably done in 4, maybe 5. But that's the position. That's not the player. Now, there are exceptions. We start with Derrick Henry in the division, John with Taylor now in Indianapolis, although he's gotten beaten up as of late. And I think that is that's a part of all this. That has to be part of the thinking. Not the player, but the position. And the life expectancy at that position, league-wide. Again, they may look at him as being such a special guy that he is the exception to the rule, that they're going to take their chances. He makes this football team so much better, this Genty, that they're going to forget about that. And they're going to concentrate on 2025 and trying to win football games this year. John Oser's coming up. Much more on the Jaguars. We're an hour, like that 25 hours away from the NFL draft.
1010XL's elite crime-fighting force.
Brave fighters from another time.
another place. Codename XL Primetime. 2 to 4 weekdays on 1010XL.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reich. They quote all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Mia here. You know, people typically start and end their day by visiting their closet. So shouldn't that space feel calm, organized, like a little moment of luxury? That's why I chose Closets by Design. They specialize in custom solutions for every lifestyle and budget. Call them this week to schedule your free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus another 15% off and free installation. Don't wait for mom to do it. Call now at 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Old City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit CoilJacks.com. COYLE Jacks.com.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark tonight at 7:05. It's free t-shirts to the first 500 fans, courtesy of Renewal by Anderson and Better Health. Then it's Thirsty Thursday and Fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's It's time for Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Oser. Oh No's. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine what the dance floor is going to be like tomorrow night, late in the 8 o'clock hour? After the Jaguars with the 5th pick select. Who knows? Let's bring in our friend John Oser, senior writer, Jaguars.com. This anticipation is growing, young man.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool draft in that sense. Some years you sort of know. This year, it really feels like one where anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think the fact that only really Tennessee feels locked in, I think it's going to be one of the most interesting drafts to watch up top. And then I think it's really going to break one way or the other with the Jags at 5 if they're there.
Mm-hmm. I missed you last week because I was in Jamaica, but before I went away, I had Adam Kaplan on, and he was the first that I was aware of who mentioned Genty. And we've, ridden all these waves where it's been Graham forever. There was a little taste of McMillan, and there was a little taste of Hunter. That went away quick. What do you make of all of this over the last couple of weeks with Ashton Genty?
Well, I think every one of those guys that you mentioned, I feel like is a guy they like. So a lot of times what happens, as you know, one national media guy will talk to one person with some knowledge, and it's a solid piece of information. Then it takes a while to sort of take hold where, somebody talks to somebody and says, yeah, that's right, they like him. I think Genty's a real possibility. I don't know if that'll be the pick, but if I were making a list of guys that I thought were good possibilities, he would really be on it. And then that raises all the questions about running back and positional value and all that. But I think the best way I've tried to explain it to people is if an unconventional player, which a running back would be unconventional, is the pick somewhere, people are going to say, well, why wouldn't they take an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle or et cetera? Well, you're not taking a position that high. You're taking the player. If they take Genty or if it's McMillan, it's because he's significantly better, and this team feels like it needs players who are significantly better than other football players.
Yeah.
And that would be the reason. And I'm a positional guy, meaning it worries me to take back that high, but it doesn't worry me to take special that high, and that'd be the reason for the pick.
Yeah, and you have to trust your process, and that's what they're doing, because every year, there are far more mistakes than there are really good picks. Look at last year. Top 14 picks are offensive players. Number 23 was Brian Thomas Jr., 4 wide receivers. 3 went ahead of him. If that was the redraft this year with that rookie knowledge, he'd be a top 10 pick, maybe a top 5 pick. So
it might be top 5. Might be the first receiver taken or really close.
Yep, but that's the way you have to do your job, is that I'm sure – well, this is the way I've always looked at it, John. I want your opinion on it. I'm sure that they have their rankings, and they may only have a list of 2 or 3 guys that they think there's no way we can pass up on them if they are available at number 5. And maybe Genty is on that list. And if he's not on that list, then does it make sense if they think they can get another quality football player, let's say, 10 or whatever, we're not losing all that much by trading down and grabbing more picks?
Yeah, it's exactly the way it works in a vacuum. Obviously, the X factor is always, we all love to say trade down. Okay, who's answering the phone to do that? And that's a very real thing that I think people who haven't been around the process sometimes forget. Oh, they should have traded back to 8. Okay, well, what's 8 doing? What are they giving you? Do they even want to pick up the phone? Same thing with trading up. Absolutely trading up. Hey, we want to trade up for Abdul Carter. Well, the Giants tell you, well, that's great that you want to do that, but we like Abdul Carter. And the Jaguars weren't trading anything for Trevor Lawrence, right? So there's a little bit of that element. But, yes, if you like – there's also the element of this, I think you alluded to a little bit. If you like a player at 5, say they like Genty at 5, and they're worried that he won't be there at 7 or 8, then you don't trade back. If it's going to hurt you in the stomach if a guy's gone, and you get that feeling of regret, then stay where it is and take him, even if it's a couple of picks high.
Yeah. What do you think they should do tomorrow night? Your opinion. What should they do?
Well, and that's a tough thing, right? Because I don't know exactly what's on the board. I don't pretend to be able to tell you, is Genty better than Mason Graham at the position that he plays? If he is, and everything I've heard is that he is, then I think you take Genty. So if all of the stuff that I've read and kind of watched myself, and if it's truly Hunter, Carter, and Genty, and I'm taking the quarterbacks out of it because we all know they're going to get pushed up. If that's the case, and Genty's better than Campbell, and Campbell's there, then I think you take Genty, because I do think the one thing I said about this team over and over last year was there's not enough guys who make big plays at big moments. It was BTJ and really nobody else. Well, if they think that Genty is a guy who makes big plays in big moments, then I think you take him at 5.
Yeah.
And worry about all the other stuff later. As soon as I say that, I think to myself, boy, they need to start building the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why people who don't understand that Genty is that much better would bristle at how can you say that they're not taking an offensive lineman when they need to build that area.
Yeah.
But I think the talent over position will trump that.
John Oser, I guess, senior writer, Jaguars.com, joins Rick Ballou here on your home of the Jags. Yeah, absolutely. It makes total sense. It's the player. It's not the position. Because, you can look at ETN, you can look at Fournette. I don't think ETN gets past this year. They both, made it through their rookie deals, or I guess Fournette was let go a year before. But then you go back to yesteryear. Taylor got a second deal. MJD got a second deal. Many will say that if you go get a guy like Genty because of the position, he may not be around for that second contract, where you could have a Jalen Walker or a Mason Graham or a Will Campbell, where percentage-wise there's a much better chance they are.
Yeah, and that's absolutely – I can't argue very vehemently against somebody who believes that, and it's true. The only thing I would think when I'm thinking about it is if you're absolutely sure in your heart that Genty's the best player to give you a chance to be great for 6 years, I can come back to with the argument that in his franchise's history, how many players have they drafted who've been great for them for 6 years or more?
Yeah.
Fred, Mojo, Tony,
Jimmy
starts coming into that. They didn't draft Jimmy.
Oh, outside. Okay, my bad.
So,
my bad.
But to your point, yes. But it's been a while.
Yeah.
So
who recently? Logan Cook?
That you're going to take that. You're going to be able to get 5 and then franchise them twice, which you can do.
Yeah.
And you're going to get 7 great years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a handful of guys. He's probably on the side of the wall if he gives you 7 great years.
Yeah. Makes
so that
sense.
would be the other. If I'm talking about this in a bar with somebody, that'd be the other thing I would say.
What's the vibe you're getting? I mean, this is remarkable. This is the first time since 1967 that every single team still has their first-round draft pick. Typically, there's a quarterback involved and there's a big trade. I know there's all these rumors out there, but do you see a situation where we go through a first round tomorrow night and there's not a trade?
No. I would be stunned if there's not a trade tomorrow. I don't quite know how to explain it. I wonder if I kind of forget what happened in last year's first round, or maybe even in the second, that nobody gave up a late first last year to go up and get something.
Mm-hmm.
That's often where that first domino falls, and there's a different kind of team. So I don't really know how to answer it.
Yeah.
My sense is it's probably a little fluky on that end. And then there's really nobody. Cam Ward wasn't the guy, I don't think, that other teams said, we have to go get this. And usually if it's not involving the first pick leading up to it, you don't get that many trades until you're on the clock because you don't know what you're trading for yet. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if there's 3 or 4 or 5 trades in the first round tomorrow once the dominoes start falling and teams know what they're going after.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, man, it's going to be a lot of fun here over the next 24 hours. I always appreciate it, John. Thank you.
All right, Rick, we'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
There he goes. John Oser, senior writer, Jaguars.com. So it is, I failed in some circles here, and I know John tried to, it is kind of difficult to explain the thinking when it comes to that only a couple of guys are worthy of this. Because you can turn right around and say, well, what about Brian Thomas Jr. at number 23? Again, mistakes get made all the time. And I think part of it is fear. If you have a guy like Genty at 5, and then you are convinced that you can find a Bucky Irvin in the 4th round, and at 5, you go in a different direction or you trade down. And then all of a sudden you're a year into the league or you're 2 years in the league and you're watching Genty, become a Barkley or become one of the better running backs. And then you sit back and say, how in the heck did we not select him? And you ended up getting a back in the 3rd round or 4th round because you thought you could plug him in. I think that's going to drive these decision makers crazy. Because they just don't know. Every year there are far more misses in the NFL draft than there actually are hits. I mean, just if you have time, just pick a year. Go back to 1999. Go to 2009. Go to 2019. Just pick a year and go to the 1st round and look at all the misses. And then go deeper into it and look at where some of these really accomplished football players. I'm not talking about necessarily Hall of Famers, but I'm talking about long-time proven starters that made your football team that much better and where they were actually snatched up in the draft. There's so much more failure in this than there is success. It's amazing. And if you think this is bad, it's twice as bad in baseball. I mean, it really is. See, this is 0193 says, Ballou, Tom McShay said an hour ago he was told the Jaguars are staying at 5. They're picking Genty. If they move back, they want to get McMillan. I know Todd McShay personally. He and Gary Horton were with the War Room, which used to be an unbelievable scouting service that was a part of us at the Sporting News Radio. And Todd's gone big time. I don't have the relationship with him that I once had, sadly, on my part, because I always enjoyed his analysis. But I'll look at this right now and say, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. And I really like Todd McShay. Again, he was a really good friend of mine. He changed the number, and he just doesn't get back to me anymore. He's gone massive big time. I mean, I remember before he was married on Friday nights, he would be out at a college football game every weekend, typically in the SEC, and he'd come out with the War Room. We'd do college football, and we had a segment at the very end where he would rate the co-eds on campus, whether it was Baton Rouge or Auburn, everywhere else. I mean, I really went deep with Todd McShay. But I think this is just a convenient way of saying this is what he believes. And you can say that you were told that, okay? Now, maybe he's told that from another analyst. Maybe he's told that from someone else that he trusts. But when you hear it that way, it sounds like he's been told that from someone inside the Miller Electric Center. And I do not believe that. That's the point I'm trying to make about this. I covered the draft last year. I covered it the year before. I've covered it every year. I've never had this approach. I've never had this opinion. Has anyone, media-wise in this town, come forward to say that they were told by someone in the Jaguars organization that this is going to happen? Maybe it's happened. I've missed it. Have you seen it, Dylan? I haven't seen it from anyone who covers this football team.
Haven't heard anything about this draft.
No. And again, that's why I started tonight by saying, well, in Chicago, they're telling us that Jacksonville's picking up the phone and saying that they want to trade down. And again, it doesn't mean that he didn't hear from someone inside Hallis Hall. Okay, I covered a couple of drafts in Hallis Hall, but old school, prestigious building. Maybe someone there said, hey, well, Jacksonville's call. For all we know, it could have been Ryan Poles who picked up the phone and said, listen, we want to move up. But by the time that message got delivered, it's Jacksonville's call. Am I making too big of a deal out of this? Maybe. Maybe I am. But I have a point to it. There's a point to this. And I think it is very important. It's all part of the change. My opinion, the message was sent, and it was stamped with fear. Shut up. Do not say a word. And I wouldn't even be surprised if in a lot of these situations, they're not even involved. It's just those three. It really is. I don't care how much trust they have in Ethan Waugh. I don't care how much trust they have in others in the front office or all of their scouts. Obviously, they're involved in all sorts of conversations. But when they really break bread and get down to what we're talking about right now, I think less ears is the way that this football team is going to go. I'm actually impressed by that. I'm impressed by with Baselli. Because Baselli knows what it's been like for years to be on the other side. Trying to get information. I'm sure Tony Baselli's had off-the-record conversations with so many people over there. Because he's Tony Baselli. And now I know he's got people trying to go up to him and say, Tony, and Tony's like, no, just don't even ask me. I didn't even bother asking Tony. I mean, why would I? I know enough. I'm smart enough to know he's not going to say anything to me. I mean, the guy just took a new job, but I do believe that tone has been set. And again, I think it's kind of cool. Caroline says Kentucky co-eds are the best. 0148 at Rupp Arena. Really? Okay. 61-65. What if Hunter is available at 5? I sprint to the podium. Sprint. That's a no question for me. He is number one. He is the best prospect in this draft. I think there's a couple of issues with Abdul Carter. I do. Know some Penn State people. He is phenomenally talented. Not going to argue with you there. But to me, it's Hunter and it's everyone else. 0193, but I guess the Jaguars thinking intangibly rich, a way of helping assess a player's ability to succeed in the NFL. That part of it is something that we are truly trying to understand. Okay? And my opinion on that is different. Okay? Not that intangibly rich isn't important, but I do wonder a little bit about character. Okay? You need some dogs. This team has no dogs. They got a couple. Okay, they got a couple of dogs. Thomas Jr.'s a dog. Yeah, I'd like to say Hines Allen's a dog. Walker, although they got a couple, but I mean, we can maybe even argue that. They need some dogs. And I also want some guys on this football team that if they have questionable character, but they're good enough players, so what? Baselli played with a cast of bad characters at USC. There were bad characters here with Tom Coughlin in Jacksonville. There were bad characters when Coughlin was the wide receiver coach with Belichick and Bill Parcells in New York. okay? It's one thing if you're a bad character guy and you suck. It's another thing if you're a bad character guy, but you are a bad ass on the field. That's what I want. Who's the last bad man to come through Jacksonville? Honestly, who's the last bad man? Was it Chris Clemens? I mean, who's the last guy who's come through here that intimidated you?
John Henderson?
Maybe it was John Henderson. Jalen was a badass dude, even though he was crying on the sideline. He was a bad man. Who's the last bad guy? So, again, you want to love your Jaguars? I get it, but I don't need 53 guys on this team who are walking old ladies across the street. No. I want a few badasses on the team. You know what I'm saying? Flat out guys that are ready to go out there and be a difference maker on Sunday. Losing's not an option on Sunday. To me, there's too much made of character. This team never has anyone. This team never has anyone. This team sucks. Okay? Same thing applies to my Florida State Seminoles. Someone posted something the other day, 11 years, me deadliest catch with Jameis Winston holding up a crab legs and having a great time. Did I show you that? We'll put it on Twitter. I'll give it to you here coming up.
See that.
Okay? Give me those days. Give me those days when they were renegade guys, when they were bad guys, when they broke the law. They won. Now they got all these, our kids graduate, all right. They're 2-10. Give me some players here in town that are bad dudes. That's what I want.
Play-by-play just makes everyday life better.
I did not see this one coming.
Get the most play-by-play on 1010XL, Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio.
When you think of America, you think baseball, cookouts, military, and pride for our country. At Garber Auto Mall, we're proud to carry every American-made truck at one location. Ford, Chevy, GMC, Ram, and Jeep. With the largest inventory selection in North Florida, you can shop with one salesperson. Garber Auto Mall is proud to support our country, our military, and our community. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. Garber Auto Mall. Proud to be American.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. You've heard us talk about it. Window World, the #1 window replacement company in the USA, selling over 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years.
That's a lot of satisfied customers and why J.D. Powers has awarded Window World Best in Customer Satisfaction 3 out of 4 years.
Window World stands behind their slogan, simply the best for less. With Window World, you get top quality windows at a price that leaves more of your money in your bank account, and you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement industry. When compared to our competition, there is none. See for yourself. Call the competition. Get quotes from them. But before you buy, get Window World's free estimate and compare the quality of the windows and the price.
You'll see.
And when your new Window World windows are installed and they're saving you money on your energy bills, if anything goes wrong with those windows, Window World and I will be there to make it right. That's my guarantee.
Call Window World today. Start saving money on your new windows and your energy bills and take vacation with your savings. Window World, online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
Free Comic Book Day. Hey, I'm Ben Kay, owner of Gotham City Limit, your local comic shop, inviting you to the Community Party of the Year, Saturday, May 3rd. Free comics, free food, huge discounts, and more. Let's take Free Comic Book Day to the limit. Gotham City Limit.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 23rd, 2020, at the NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Louisiana State quarterback Heisman Trophy winner Joe Burrow with the first overall pick.
What is 1010XL's Jeff Prosser's favorite movie?
The answer next.
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Believe it or not, Jeff Prosser's favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Are you 18 years or older? Just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Jacksonville's summer heat is coming in fast. Is your AC ready to handle it? Or will it quit on you on the hottest day of the year, leaving you sweating and stuck with a huge repair bill? Duck Air Conditioning is here to save the day with a free AC system inspection. Our expert techs will make recommendations to ensure your AC system is running in tip-top shape before the heat arrives. Call now, 904-862-6769. Duck Air Conditioning, duckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
It's here. Beard's Diamond's first ever massive sale on all diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets. Now through Sunday at 4 p.m. Save 20%, 30%, even 40%. Beautiful diamond stud earrings and gorgeous diamond tennis bracelets. Perfect for any occasion. Take advantage of huge markdowns. Best prices ever. Corporate-owned big box stores could never offer this extreme value, but locally owned Beards can. And it's happening now through Sunday. Up to 40% off. Beard's Diamond, St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beards.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Pitched by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days than bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find Scratch Kitchen that always comes in the clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktail shots, and more. Come on, somebody.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, speaking of perceived bad guys, how about Shedeur Sanders? Man, the guy got destroyed 2 days before the draft. That's the other part of this that I really do not like. You know, and that's anonymous source or someone said can really be destructive. This was told to Tom Pelissaro, who's, you know, very good. But he came out with this report, quote, the worst formal interview. This is on Shedeur Sanders. The worst formal interview I've ever been with in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good. I mean, that is total character assassination. And it's an anonymous quote. And that's a shame. And I know Pelisaro's doing his job, but timing is everything in life. I have said since day one, whether it's Cam Ward, Sanders, anyone else, there's no way I would rather have them over Trevor Lawrence. And in my opinion, Trevor Lawrence in 4 years has been totally underwhelming. Disappointing. And I'm not going to go through the reasons. It's not his fault. Most of it's not his fault. I still believe they can turn things around. But he hasn't lived up to the number one generational pick. I would not want Cam Ward. I would not want Shedeur Sanders. What did we talk about yesterday? Someone said of Cam Ward that if this was last year's draft, he would be the 7th quarterback rated. Told Adam Schefter, at least one team doesn't have a first-round grade in a quarterback? So that has always been the case with the NFL draft. The closer we get, the stories are always going to be negative. You know? Getting a lot of stuff in on bad guys here now. And, hey, who was the guy said bad guy usually ends bad. Let me see if I could find that. What did I do with that? So many are coming in here tonight. All right, anyway, boys, yeah, bad guys usually end up doing bad things. It doesn't work out. Sure. If they're not good football players. I'm not saying take a bad guy who's a bad football player. You take a bad guy who's a great football player. You take a bad guy and you deal with some difficult situations, perhaps, every once in a while, or maybe a testy, background. But if he's a great football player, you have to make the exception. This league has done it forever. Doesn't matter what you do, this league will accept you. It does not matter what you do. If you can play, there's room for you. Someone brings up Aaron Hernandez. Oh, well, okay. There's a good example. You got me there with Aaron Hernandez. Antonio Brown. All right, Antonio Brown had a complete meltdown, but Antonio Brown for a decade was freaking dominant. Okay, I mean, he was absolutely sensational. Brian Thomas Jr., it seems like he, again, is almost unassuming. It doesn't appear he's going to go into the category of a diva, a wide receiver, which is really pretty cool. But what if you draft someone else and he is that, but he still can produce? Right? I have no issues with that. None. Some of the greatest players that we have ever seen in this league have been arrested, have questionable character, did things that were wrong in college, did things that were wrong when they were an NFL team. You forgive them. You're a fan. You absolutely forgive them. I get the character thing. You want the ideal situation is to have a great football player who is a great human being. Now, this organization is choosing years' worth of work. And with Gladstone, that was obviously in Los Angeles. With Cohen, that was in Lexington, Kentucky, and Tampa Bay. And with Baselli, it's been here, who jumped into it. Tony's never been a talent evaluator before. Tony's never had sit-down conversations with people at the college level or whatever about what type of personality they have, what type of attitude they have, how do they handle things when they're great, how do they handle things when they lose. You saw right around here a few years ago, they just said goodbye to Leonard Fournette. You know why? Leonard Fournette, he didn't care if they won or lost. You walk in the locker room and try to interview Leonard Fournette, whether it was here or on the road, you looked at Leonard Fournette, you didn't know if they won 30-0 or they lost 30-0. Guy put up 1,700-plus yards from the line of scrimmage, and they sent him away for nothing. In the 4th year of his contract, he was the 4th pick. That's how bad of a teammate he was. With a terrible team. They won one game. But that's the difference. Justin Black would so say, I was talking about that a little bit earlier. Dexter Manley hit massive. Dexter Manley was a star. He was a star. And, a lot of this is things are so much more reported now. It's so much scarier now because of cell phones. You can't get away with things now that you used to. I think that probably comes into play. You know, in the world of Lawrence Taylor, if cell phones were around the mid-'80s, would he have had the same career without there being more penalty? I can't answer that. Someone brings up Ray Lewis. Do you think there's one person in Baltimore right now that is willing to give up his career because of what happened before the Super Bowl in Atlanta? O.J. Simpson. You think there's anyone in Buffalo right now that's willing to give up the career he had in Buffalo until what happened decades later? If there's a difference between a good and a bad, you to go with the good. But I've always, you know, Deion Figures, Andre Rison, he's had a tough road now. And DeMarco ended up being a good player, so that's probably a bad example. Figures was very average. Above average at times, but he was that guy. Andre Rison's days were basically done, but he fit into that category. Some legendary stories about Andre Rison. What you don't want is to draft a bad guy who can't play. There's the difference. Would I take Pierce at 30? No, I wouldn't take him at 36. Hunter Jenny at anyone else? Let's move on here. Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, yada, yada. All right, talking about the best backs. I didn't mention Eric Dickerson or Curtis Martin yet. True. I didn't mention Frank Gore. He's fourth all-time in rushing. Franco Harris should be on that list. And I want to do that. Here we go now. Let's go to 6130. Blue, I don't care what running back you have back there. If your offensive line cannot run block or pass block, your offense is going to suffer. Well, you know, here I am kind of swallowing the Genty deal, although I've said all along I would trade back to the Bears at 10 if you give me number 5, if you give me number 10 and 41. But forever I've been talking about two things. That's the offensive line and wide receiver. They still need more. Without any question, the biggest concern I have about this football team, even with all of their deficiencies on defense, is the offensive line. And they got enough guys right now to walk out there and play. I mean, they're 10 or 11 deep. Now you go Little, Cleveland, Hainsey, Macari, and Harrison. There's your 5. They just redid a deal this week with Cole Van Lannon. He signed his tender for $3.26 million. He's back. You just spent money on Fred Johnson. He's back. Chuma? They just brought him in. He's going to be on the list. And then you know what? You're going to have some serious battles here in camp. Luke Fortner, Cooper Hodges, Javon Foster, a 4th-round pick of a year ago. I mean, all these guys are going to be... But where I'm at, you still need to get better. You need to draft a couple of offensive linemen. And I'm telling you, if they could get Will Campbell and somehow he fell to them at 5, I know that would really disappoint most of you out there. But I would love the pick. Because I think Jacksonville right now is caught up in a little bit of a name game where you kind of play the role, Anton on one side, Walker on the other. I mean, stop right there. Where is the legitimate trust level on that? Can Little play a whole season without getting injured? It really hurt that he went down late in the year. Damn it. The kid he always gets hurt. Harrison's been nicked for 2 years, and he regressed. So you're talking about pass protecting and finally beginning to turn around Trevor Lawrence. And again, you have 2 enormous question marks at tackle. I think Ezra Cleveland is just the guy at guard. Macari at right guard, okay. He's played all 5 positions. Guess which one he's played the least? Right guard. As far as snap count. Hope it works out. Hainsey, a backup. Hope it works out. And again, it's almost like you go through it and then you go somewhere else. You're like, that'll be good enough. Well, you know what? Still the biggest problem to me, that offensive line. I hope the 4 guys they brought in, I hope they become a big factor here, and they can begin to turn that around. I really hope there's some spirited competition. I know that's going to be almost impossible to do because they don't hit in camp. All right, let's find out where the Jags are going to go tomorrow night. Let's bring in our friend Rafael Esparza. He joins us next.
It began with a dream.
Got my first job when I was 11. Worked every day since.
And turned into 1010 XL.
Isn't that what the American dream's all about?
Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010 XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
The Gators' hot streak of baseball continued on Tuesday evening with yet another run rule victory as they held off the Georgia Southern Eagles 12-1. With this victory, the Gators have now won 8 of their last 9 games and remain perfect at home in midweek matchups this season. This weekend, the Arkansas Razorbacks will come to town as the Gators look to win their 4th SEC series in a row.
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in Jacksonville. Shania Twain. 2 incredible shows. Daly's Place, July 29th, and Due to Demand second show added July 30th. With special guest Mackenzie Porter. New show on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. For more, visit ShaniaTwain.com.
All right, let's go right to the point. Losing weight ain't fun, and it's not easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food. No matter where I go, Jamaica, I mean, all you can eat, all you can drink, every event imaginable. The draft tomorrow, going to be in New Orleans this weekend. It's hard. It is. Awaken 180, all right? I'm already down 13 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, never hungry. Not some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great. And what's even better, when I'm on the road, I'm able to handle these real-life situations. Temptation, yeah, it's everywhere. And I've done my very best along with my coach at Awaken 180 to get through it all. So if you're tired of carrying around the extra weight, tired of diets don't work, do what I've been doing. Hacker, Dempsey, Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy, it works, and it's real. Go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Yo, it's your main man E.T. here, and it's time to make those summer break plans. Clay County is calling. From paddleboarding on Doctor's Lake to reeling in the big one on Black Creek or cruising the St. Johns River, there's no better place to dive into warm weather fun. Enjoy live music, local festivals, food trucks, and fireworks lighting up the night. Discover scenic parks, hidden trails, and must-visit local gyms. Your summer adventures start here. Visit exploreclay.com.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we got to bring my thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Bueller.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified and take 25% off all services. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them Hicken or 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, for the Jaguars, just another day, right? More rumors, bunch out there. Other cities, Denver, not necessarily Denver, but really Chicago and San Francisco, saying that, Jacksonville's been on the phone, willing to trade down. Again, you don't get a lick of that here, so I think it's some miswording that somehow goes from the organization to the reporter. I'm just totally convinced that nothing is coming out of the Miller Electric Center. It's on. It's time for James Gladstone. It's time for the Jaguars to make the move. And it's going to be a very interesting day. I'll tell you that, where I'm at right now, the only exception to the rule for me is Travis Hunter. And, I would even do Travis Hunter if this organization is so convinced that Travis Hunter is really going to be that, moving up to number 2 and number 3 to get him, I would do it. You would sacrifice a ton. But how much better would that make you as a football team? Okay? My personal belief, if they can trade from 5 to 10, that is the direction that I would go. I've seen a couple of different proposals. I see one that involves picks in 2026 and stuff like that. They did that last year, obviously, when they traded down with Brian Thomas Jr. They acquired some more picks, and that's always convenient in a year. But I just think with the massive haul of 10 free agents and 10 draft picks and getting an extra draft pick this year, it just feels like they're trying to do everything that they can to flip this roster. So if you could do the Pelissaro deal, that would be 5 and 107 for 10 and 41. That would be my preference. That's what I would do. But I love the boldness of Jacksonville. If they were to say, watch this. Cleveland, here you go. What do you want? Just to move up 3 spots. What do you want, Cleveland? To get Hunter. I just can't imagine what this city would be like. Even those would be upset about it early on because you gave up so much. The other side is just stay at 5 and go with Genty. So we'll see if anything, changes tomorrow. Is it going to be a little bit more guesswork? Obviously, it's going to be put out there with anonymous sources, and I don't think you'll hear anything directly here. I'd be very surprised if that was the case. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just telling you I'd be surprised if it, in fact, did happen. But it could come from other markets, like the stuff we've seen today. Again, as I've said several times, coming out of both Chicago and Denver. All right, quick reminder. Tomorrow, not my regular show. You'll have it in the first hour from 6 to 7. But I'm going to be with Hacker Nation and Hayes Carline. We are going to be on tomorrow from 4 until 7. All right, the three of us with plenty of guests, getting ready to get everything that is going on for the NFL draft, and then get you to Jaguars and their radio broadcast. So that'll be tomorrow from 4 until 7.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Hacker Nation coming up right now. Your final show, or I guess for a day until we get back to our normal situation on Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow will be a lot of fun. Like you said, I'm looking forward to sitting in with you and Hayes Carline 4 to 7 tomorrow, and then I'm going to speed home, JSO. I won't speed too much, but I'm going to get home to Mandarin, and then I'm a part of the multimedia coverage tomorrow night on 1010XL, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Myself, the head coach Dave Campo, Gus Logue will have a Duval Rundown show live as the draft is going on, reacting to not only the Jaguar pick, but every pick going up until at least 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So a very, very busy day tomorrow, and I'm certainly looking forward to it.
That's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun.
It is. And look, you will be able to react in real time when the Jaguars make that selection. And is it Ashton Genty? Will there be a trade involved, either up or down? It'll certainly be awesome to have the head coach on live there with us to react to everything as well.
Awesome. That sounds good. What do you got coming up tonight?
I mean, obviously, it's going to be a lot of NBA playoff talk, a lot of NHL playoff talk. We're going to really break it down. No, come on. It's all the draft. We're 24 hours away.
The Panthers last night.
Yeah, the Panthers look good. The Magic are getting killed right now. That's what I got for you in the NBA playoffs. Josh Edwards, CBSSports.com. Ian Valentino, A to Z Sports.com. Mason Johnstone, I've had him on a couple of times. Really enjoy his work with the Draft Network. We're absolutely loaded. Also, Justin Barney of Channel 4. So we're with you till 10 o'clock, and it's all draft all the time for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, it really is. And we're exactly now 24 hours away from the NFL draft. We have not seen, I think I told you this yesterday, either on or off air. Since 1967, this is the first time every team still has its first-round pick.
Right, yeah.
That changes tomorrow night, in your opinion?
I believe it does. And I've heard from too many people, podcasts, TV media, national personalities, etc., that think this is going to be one of the more active. Usually, I think the networks try to build that up. You know, there's going to be a lot of trades, right? A lot of trades. Then you get to the draft, and it's kind of a dud, right? There's very, very little trades the day of. I do think we see some action tomorrow, particularly based on what happens early. And the Jaguars are going to play a big hand in that. I mean, how about in 3 months' time, James Gladstone and Liam Cohen are leading off SportsCenter and NFL Network's coverage. What are the Jaguars going to do at 5? That is one of the main storylines going in tomorrow night. Pretty impressive for a first-year GM and a first-year head coach.
No doubt. All right, have a good show.
Thanks, Rick. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, Hackers coming up right now, and again, we'll do it tomorrow. Look forward to it. Should be a blast along with Hacker and Hayes Carline again 4 to 7 on Thursday. Get you right up until the NFL draft. I apologize for Rafael Esparza. I just didn't have time. Sometimes I got to learn how to shut it. Thank you to John Oser. Thank you to Dylan Denmark. Folks, have a great night. Enjoy your Wednesday. Again, I know you're with us all the time, but we'll have our special show here tomorrow 4 to 7. Ballou with Carline and Hacker. Look forward to talking with you then.